London. Did you enjoy working in London?
Very much. I'm sorry I didn't spend half my life in London.
Really?
That's one of my regrets. Because they wanted me to stay there and do another show, and like a fool, I came back to the United States, and I called John Murray Anderson in New York, and he said, "Go back, Kimmer." He used to call me Kimmer. He'd say, "Go back, Kimmer, go back." He says, "Don't you understand? In this country, they only love your last performance. Once they love you there, they'll always love you. Go back, Kimmer, go back."
That's right, Jerry Lewis. He is the biggest star in France, the biggest. And here, he's just Jerry Lewis, whatever. What makes that so, Kaye? Why do you think
Because this is a fickle country. You're only as good as your last performance.
They love to bring you up and tear you down, don't they?
Yeah, I don't know why that is.
I hate that. I
hate that too.
They don't let you stay up there.
Or I want them to have the reverence for people that have achieved such excellence.
Right.
I don't want, I'll tell you a true story that happened to Joan Blondell shortly before she died. She went on a casting call at Warner Brothers, and the man said, "What have you done?" And she said, "Well, about 70 movies at this studio."
Right.
And he says, "Well, with whom?" She says, "Well, Dick Powell." He says, "Is that the one that married June Allison?" She said, "He married me first," and walked out. I mean, I want people to respect people that have achieved excellence. I want them to be remembered. I don't want them to take over. I want young people to take over, but I want them to have a certain pay respect to people that have paid their dues in this business and have contributed so much.
Yes.
I'm a sucker when I see a star. I get all giddy. I love it.
Me too.
Don't you love it?
Yeah.
Remember we went to that party together at Joe Franklin's?
Joe Franklin's. It was great. All those old stars were there.
Yes, it was
Wasn't it
wonderful.
fabulous? Yeah, John Agar and Cesar Romero, all those wonderful
Cesar
people.
Romero and Martha Ray.
Martha Ray was, I adore her.
It was a thrill. And Virginia O'Brien and
she
wonderful
loved you.
people.
She loved you that night. You made her night. She loved you. I have a great picture of you and her together.
Oh, really? Virginia O'Brien? Oh, what?
No, Martha Ray.
Oh,
and
Maggie.
I'm going to give it to you. Maggie, yes.
Maggums. She's my darling.
I want to ask Kaye about when you did your Broadway show, the very first one. You must have been excited.
I was, because I didn't know what I wanted to do until I saw Ethel Merman in Annie Get Your Gun. Then I thought, oh, that's what I want to do. But back in Cleveland, all I did was go to the movies and say, oh, I want to be up there. See?
Does Kaye write at all music?
No, but my material has a lot to do with
your life,
what I say.
What you do.
Yes, what I add. I can edit very well.
Mothers-in-law. I got to talk about this. Mothers-in-law. Eve Arden.
Eve Arden.
Oh, what a great lady.
Absolutely.
Tell me it.
Truly a happy experience.
And that's still on. It's on syndicated. It's still on.
Somewhere.
Oh, yeah, it's still
on. But you know, it wasn't owned by NBC. It was owned by Desi Arnaz and Procter & Gamble.
Right.
So they took it off, not the people, because it never was out of the top 14.
Right.
And Desi was sick, and so they didn't want to take a chance. But that show, I get so angry at NBC because they never mention that show when they do 50 years.
That's right.
They never mention.
Why is that, Kaye?
Because they didn't own it. So therefore they don't want to give it any credence or any credibility.
You're doing something for Fox. Tell me about that.
Well, I did that last season. It was called What a Dummy.
What a Dummy.
It didn't quite make it.
Doesn't matter.
That's all right. It was fun to be there.
So, who's in that, Kaye?
Well, a wonderfully talented actor named David Doty and oh gosh, I can't think of her name, and she was wonderful. The wife. Oh,
doesn't matter. Why do you think some of the shows make it and some don't, Kaye? Do you have an ingredient? What's the ingredients that?
Well, first of all, everything is time slot. If you have the right time slot and they keep you there long enough, it becomes a habit. I believe that.
I see.
Don't you believe that, really, Skippy?
Yeah, people see me on 11:30. They have their train for 11:30 on Sundays, and they turn.
It's like David Letterman. I mean, he didn't catch on the first 2 years.
No, he didn't, did he?
But someone kept him there long enough, and he found his audience.
Who's some of the favorite talk show hosts you've been on?
Virginia Graham.
Virginia Graham in New York?
Virginia Graham.
Really?
Now, there is a lady that should be on television today.
Yes.
Her mind is quicker than anyone on television.
Really?
Yes. I just spoke to her the other day, and I said, Virginia, how are you? She said, well, last week. She said, I thought I was going to die. And I said, if you die, I'll be furious. She said, you'll be furious. What do you think Saks Fifth Avenue will be? She's the most wonderful lady.
Yes. I'm going to be doing a radio show starting in a few weeks.
Good.
And when you open up in at the Henry Fonda, I want you to come on my radio.
I'd be happy to.
It's going to be at the Mondrian every Mondays, and we're going to have a good time.
Well, I've always found your show really interesting.
And I have an interesting lady on the show.
Who?
Is Jacqueline Stallone, and she's going to do astrology.
Oh.
And show what is your sign?
Scorpio.
You're a Scorpio?
Yeah.
She's a Sagittarius.
Didn't she tell her son not to marry Brett?
That's right. That's right. You heard about that one?
Yes.
So you're at the Henry Fonda, and you're going to be there how many weeks?
4 weeks until June 2nd, and I really hope people show up.
Oh, they'll show up.